Hello, welcome to Elizabeth O'Brien Art. Today I thought I'd take a few minutes and go over some of the brushes that I use in acrylic painting. I've had some questions lately on different types of products I use, and I'll do a few different videos. Today I'm going to focus on brushes. And there are two types of brushes. There's synthetic and then there's natural. And natural brushes are typically more expensive. The synthetic brushes in the last few years have really improved in their quality, so I'm starting to tend to like those better. In my world, it's kind of what you pay for is what you get. If you're going to buy a cheap brush, it's going to wear out right away, or it's going to splay. It may look really nice and formed on the rack in the store, but generally the nicer brushes are more expensive. So look at your budget, see what you can afford, and go from there. When I get a canvas, I gesso it first, and I use just a cheap hardware store brush. This is a 1-inch. I'll coat it this way and I'll coat it that way, and I typically do just one coat over the pre-gessoed canvases. My next group of brushes are flat brushes, and they look like this. They range in size from like 1.5 to 1 inch to 3/4. They're great for doing really chunky paint and just getting some of your background down. And these typically are synthetic. You don't need to spend a lot of money on those. And then the next group of brushes I have are angled brushes. They look like this. They have an angled tip. And I usually have these three out when I'm working. One is a 1-inch, 1/2 inch, and a 1/4 inch. And these are great for leaf working, because you can take your brush, go in nice and tight, let's say like this. And then if you turn your brush, it turns in a totally different shape. So you can kind of move as you go. Experiment with that, because you're getting lots of different shapes out of how you treat your brush as you go. The next group is a flat brush, and these are probably the same as these, just smaller. Sometimes you want your shapes of things to be blunt, and that's what these are great for, through the detail. And then I have round brushes. This one's maybe not round anymore, but it also brings in different shape into your brush. This is what happens to a synthetic brush over time. Splayed out, useless, unless sometimes the most nastiest brushes are your gems, and these are them. And I love using really old icky brushes for blending. So let's say I'm working on like a cloud or something like that, let's say, or a background where you're taking two colors and really want a soft blend. These are perfect for that. So don't always throw away the nastiest brushes, because they're great. The next group of brushes are, oh, I didn't get them out. Dang it. Next group of brushes are this one. I only have one of these, and I don't know what they are. It's like a flat brush, but the tips are rounded. So flat round brush, flat squared brush, flat round squared brush. Give it a try. My next group of brushes are these. They're WHISPs, and I found them really handy for doing grass, like this. I haven't turned them this way yet, just to see what happens, but kind of fun using these. And the next group of brushes are the super pointy detailed brushes, and I'm going to step away and grab those. The next group of brushes are my pointed detail brushes, and I use these for signatures and also just detailing in. Use these at the very end typically, like size 2. I laid out all the brushes that I just showed you today and their names. The one that I was uncertain about is called the Filbert Brush. It had been too long since I actually used the name. So hopefully this will help you out in your brush purchases. Another important thing that you should have with your brushes is brush cleaner. So this is the Masters Brush Cleaner by B&J. There's probably some other brands. This one I like. So when you are done working and you want to clean all your brushes, rinse them out with water, get all the paint out. One thing also, if you're cleaning brushes or any of your things at your kitchen sink, don't clean your brush on the base of the sink, because it's probably the last time you rinsed out your sink. Maybe you had thrown grease from your bacon or something down there. So that grease gets on the brushes and can destroy the shapes and deteriorate that. So our skin has oils too, so try not to touch them a lot when you're using them and maintaining them over time. But to clean your brush, so basically you open this up, you put a little water in there, and then you get the soap on, soap it up, rinse it out with water, and then make sure it's nice and rinsed out. And then just before you put your brush away, coat it one more time, shape it, and I usually shape mine like this on the edge of this little container, so everything's nice and flat or round the way it was when you first bought it. And that's a nice preserver. So this cleanser is a cleaner and also a preserver. Highly recommended. Make your brushes last forever. The next thing I'm going to go over are the types of canvases. And probably my favorite type is this type. It's a 2-inch, so you don't have to frame it. The canvas wraps around and is in a hidden frame. And the weight of this is very nice. My favorite brand is Frederix, or a level 3 or a level 2 canvas is also acceptable, and what I like to use. Like I said, if you're on a budget and you're a student, go for the level ones. There's nothing wrong with them. And I buy these heavier ones because I'm making things for customers. I want it to last 100 years. So this one is also a nice quality canvas. It just wraps around, but it doesn't have the hidden seam, and but still has the nice heavy frame. Makes things feel better, more substantial. And the last type of canvas I want to go over is the wood panel boards, and this is a 2-inch one, and these are wood. And I just taped this off with painter's tape to create kind of a natural wood frame around it. I was trying to save on framing costs. So a little trick. The inside I've already put in this by myself. It doesn't come that way. The wood canvases are really absorbent, so make sure you gesso those 2 or 3 times, maybe 2 is fine. But it just sucks it up. So it's really good to get gesso down before you get too much paint on. So save yourself some paint. So those are the 3. Thank you for watching my little description of brushes. And like I said, in the future I'll post some things on watercolor brushes and mediums and some of the other things that we use in acrylic painting. So thank you again and have a great day. Bye.